What's up, guys? Welcome back to the next video on learning Laravel. My name is QTS Danny and you guys watching my channel Wood. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the function called compact. Alright, so before everything else, you guys go ahead and fire up your Laravel with the PHP artisan serve. Once that one out of the way, in the previous video we've seen how we're going to pass on the data from the controller to here to the view. So we have a user and we have a Yazdani here, as you guys can see here. Alright, so you can do the same, exactly the same ones with something called compact. So you can bring here inside your controller. So the advantage of the compact, say for example, if you have more than one parameter, for example, okay, we're gonna copy this one, exactly the same one, and we're gonna put it here underneath, and we're gonna comment this one because we don't need this one, say here. Now if you look in here, we have used the with function here with the Laravel. Now we're going to use something called compact. So how do we use compact? We're going to come, instead of this with, we're going to come here and just use a compact. That's it. So what the compacts they do is going to take the name. For example, if you have a user ID, you can pass the name here. So for example, now we're going to put a user ID. Okay, so I'm going to put a ID, for example, or I'm going to put a user ID. User ID. Keep in mind, if you have more than one parameter here, you can use all your parameter. But here, if you have, say for example, we have a user ID. You have user ID. We have a name here, and we have a variable here. But in this case, you guys just need a name. So we just use a user ID, and we're going to come in our blade, and you're going to see here is a user ID because we have a user ID in the previous video. We have seen with the previous user ID, and we look here in our we have a user ID, but this time we're going to do with the compact inbuilt Laravel inbuilt function. Alright, so if you look in here, we have the same, exactly the same one, your user ID. And if you look in here, we have here with the display, and you guys can put a, say for example, user ID. Now we're gonna go on our view to see the user, and we're gonna put some sort of ID. So we're gonna come here, and we're gonna put a user, and we're gonna put some sort of ID. So we're gonna put, say for example, 500. And you're going to see here that we have a username 500. We have passed the parameter here. Alright, so how about if you have more than one? For example, if you have say ID, what about the username? For example, we have username, and for example, you have user address. For example, user address. Okay. Now we have 3 parameter here, and with the compact, now we're going to see how the compact is going to accept 3. So we have a username, and then we're going to come and create another one, user address. So we put a user address. So with the user address done in our compact inbuilt function, we're going to come here and in our view. It's up to you. You guys wanna, say for example, do this one few times, and we're gonna put another one. Say for example, we're gonna put a echo, and we put a break in between, and this one's gonna be, say username, and we have a user address. So we're gonna put a user name. And now we're gonna do this one again to make it the user address. So we're gonna user address. Alright, so this one's done. Now we're gonna go here. So we can put a user ID. You can do this way, or just put an ID, because a lot of people they do ID, and we can do, say user, and we look in our controller. We have a username and we have a user address. So we're gonna come here and we say user name, and we're gonna put a username, and we put a user address, user. Okay, so now, and keep in mind, Now we have a user, we have a user ID, and we are having a user name, and we have a user address. If you guys don't put all of this here, you're going to get a very big error, because you need to put all of this required one, because now Laravel expects you guys to put 3. And the Laravel is going to come here and says, I'm going to get the user, and I'm going to get ID, I'm going to get username, I'm going to get user address, and I'm going to go on the user controller, and I'm going to look at the display method, which is this guy. This guy is here. So the Laravel is going to come here and look at the display, and going to find that there is 3 parameters, and it's going to check all of them. They say that's good, and the Laravel is going to come here and look at the view, where there's a view. The view is going to be here, and the Laravel is going to come and check the view, and it's going to display all of these variable one by one, according to what we have put it there. So we're going to save all. Say for example, now we're going to put a username is going to be Yazdani, and a user address going to be, say for example, 123 ABC, for example, ABC Street, and let's put some country. Alright, so we're going to see here we have a user ID is 500, and username is Yazdani, and your user ID, because we didn't change this one, so we're going to go here and change, because your username and your address, your username and your address is, and put a user address, and we can put a user address. So now it looks more makes more sense, because it has a user ID, it has a username, and it has a user address. You can put a password, you can put a credentials, your friends, how many friends, you can put whatever you want to put with the compact. So I leave it up to you guys to see which one is easier. You guys gonna do this with if you can, then you guys needs to put a name, or you guys needs to put a say ID, or you guys can use just compact, because that's inbuilt Laravel function. And if you hover, and you're gonna see where the compact is, it's gonna be inside the first one. It's gonna be facade, ignition, source, solution provider. So it's then the next one is going to be Laravel, and it's going to be the framework, source, illuminate, cache, database store. So it's going to be all of them. It's got this compact there. So now it's up to you guys, whichever you guys prefer to use. You guys want to use this one, or if, say for example, as I mentioned here, if you guys miss one, for example, then you guys are going to get an error. So I'm going to miss one. This one's coming from the fallback. If you remember from our previous video that we created fallback, just in case if there is no page, the page is not available, then instead of Laravel's exception, we're gonna show this one to the user. So this is more elegant and precise way of telling users that, hey, the page you're looking for, that it doesn't, and it's not exist, because we do not have a page, because we didn't put an address. You guys need to put an address. You guys need to put some sort of say you can put a ABC XYZ. So the Laravel is going to accept this one, because you have here inside your route, you have here just like a parameter here, you have a URI here, and your URI tells you guys that the first you need an ID, second one you need a username, and third one you need a user address. So if you guys want to put a constraint, and you guys should already know how to put a constraint with the regular expression. So that's how we do with the compact. That's how we're going to pass our data from controller all the way to the view. So that's how it's done with the compact, which is a built Laravel function. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe Crywood. If you guys have any question or comment, leave in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.